we go. Feels good to be back. Feels really good to be back. It's been a bit. You know, back in January, the last episode of OMO, I didn't know that would be the last episode for a while. I didn't think, that's where season 2 would basically come to happen. But here we are. Here we are. If there's something that we established last week on STPP, is that I am very good at being consistent at being inconsistent with everything I do. That and consistently pretty big on camera. I am really starting to notice like the weight is getting out of control. But that's a complete side note to everything. That's not what this show is about. Although it might become a little bit more like that, I do want to change up OMO a little bit. So that kind of brings us into the introduction here this week. And hello, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for hopefully understanding. Now I am back with you all once again for season 2 of OMO. I think that's what I'm going to do with this podcast is do seasons. Do a good 10, 15 weeks of recording stuff, doing the podcast again, and then go away for a little bit, give myself a break, just focus on STPP, focus on work on stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that I have to do in life, just in general, and it keeps on piling on. You know how it is. I think everyone knows how it is at this point. In this point in life, if you live in the United States, politics aside, there's just a lot going on, and I need a break too, guys. So, especially, I need a break too. So, not only was I like really sick, so the week that you last heard me on here by myself, it was the week that I was super sick. If you go back to the STPP episode from that week, that was the one where I had Skinner on, my Uncle Sean. And I was getting really sick. I got overheated at one point. He was in here. It was the first time I ever had a guest in the office here doing the show with me. And I just got super sick and I didn't feel well. But that turned from being super sick in terms of like a illness, like a flu type deal, to just being super duper sick up here. That happens from time to time, but it just been spiraling since the end of November, since the end of football season, where I was doing a lot of football games and stuff, recording for work and whatnot. Pardon me. And it kind of just spiraled, starting with Christmas and the holidays. Christmas is definitely not the same. It hasn't been the same since my mom passed away, and it just makes me sad. Christmas is my favorite holiday, and it's just turned into like one of my least favorite now. And I still love the holiday. I still really do, but I can't, in December, I can't get into it. My getting into it is like November, like around Thanksgiving. If I can have like a Christmas time during Thanksgiving time, I'm all for it. But when it comes to actual Christmas time, supposed to celebrate Christmas as you think you should do, it hasn't been the same since. But that's the part of growing up, you know? You grow up, you had what you had, then things happen, and then you just don't have them anymore. It's life, man. It's life. You just gotta hopefully deal with it the best you can. And if you're having problems with dealing with it, if you're having problems just in general, you don't have to just deal with it. I shouldn't say dealing with it. That's the wrong thing to say. But if you're having problems and trying to get through life, reach out. Never be afraid. And if it gets to the point where it's so bad that it's like life or death, literally, call the 988 number. I put it on the end of every STPP still to this day. I'm going to put it on every episode of OMO to this from here on out. If things get too rough, let somebody know. Okay? We're all in this together, guys. I don't want any of you all to go away or do anything drastic. That's the last thing I want anybody to do. So if you need it, go get help. Luckily, I didn't get to the point where it was that bad. I had some days that were pretty not great, but it never got the point of needing to call the number or really reach out in terms of like desperation. The only thing I wish I would have done is probably go back to therapy, and I definitely recommend therapy, talking to somebody when you need it. That I highly recommend it. So that's kind of where my headspace has been since January. We started back STPP in March, like early March. February, just in general, for all of us actually, had to just be kind of a passé month, you know? You have those times in life that you just gotta, take a break, And for STPP, once again, we needed another break. I know. STPP with another break? Come on. What else? How many more? Didn't you have 2.5 years of a break? Didn't you try to do another podcast that involved drinking a lot? Well, not a lot. I guess it depends on the day. Yes, we tried Gimme a Jack and Keith and all that, but STPP was our bread and butter with just STP. But Unhinged Heroes, now this version of it, still going strong, still going. We came back, like I said, in March. We just had two of the funnier episodes we've ever done this last couple weeks. I highly recommend you all going back and listening to them. And then we start recording next week or tomorrow for this coming Tuesday and next Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to that. That's always big fun. It will just be Dwayne, Jack, and myself again, Jedi in the background working on producing, which has been a huge help to get going, at least to have someone that I know for sure will be there to look at the show and look and add stuff that maybe I wasn't thinking about, or if he adds something, maybe I can work with it to make it even better, or hell, maybe it'll be worse. Who knows? But it's nice, and I can't thank Jedi enough for stepping into there. So I'm going to give. I don't really do plugs at the beginning of my stuff, but I will go ahead and say check out Zachary Grady on TikTok, Twitch, and everything. That's his name, Zachary Grady. I think some of them are Zachary Allen Grady, but it's mostly Zachary Grady. Go check him out on any socials. He is a wonderful man and a pleasure to call my producer in terms of STPP. It really means a lot. But let me tell you what's going on now with OMO, okay? So if you enjoyed the podcast and what it was, I am so happy you did. I think I really liked it to a point, but I'm noticing more and more just how not great the gaming community seems to be. And that's really a thing to say. I'll be the first to say, absolutely. It's dog eat dog for sure out there in the world of anything. You can't have an opinion without like 10,000 people. 10,000, that's a little exaggeration, but obviously you're going to have somebody to kind of push back. And that's not the part that really like not frustrates, but sort of just gets me about the community and whatnot. It's what is it? It's the elitism. There's a lot of elitism, I think. Another ism, I know. There's a lot of elitists when it comes to the amount of people, even people that I know that I've known my entire life, that are just Well, that wasn't obvious. Really not trying to send any things bad out there, are you, Keith? Good job, man. But no, it's crazy because there's just so much elite feeling towards because I want 120, 240 FPS at 8K with a refresh rate of 10,000 or something. I'm saying that number a lot. There's just a lot of that, and I don't know. I was getting kind of down because my views on gaming is just let's just enjoy games. Yeah, it'd be nice to run it all that, but people have lives. People have jobs, You can be that person that doesn't work all the time and spends all the money that they somehow earn playing games and just doing that and, just working on having the greatest PC ever and playing Minecraft at infinite FPS. That's totally fine, but a lot of people have to do things, do extra things, have families. They can't afford to just spend money on just this. They have other priorities. So I'm a big console gamer because console gaming, while not that big of a thing in terms of, high FPS rate and whatnot, it's cheaper than building that $4,000 PC and then maintaining that. That's why I'm not a big fan of microtransactions either. Just in general. It's just more money to spend on nothing. When you can enjoy games, probably not the best optimization, but as long as they play, as long as you're having fun, who cares? But no, it's got to be minimum 120 FPS, 4K, smooth as butter, try hard, sweating till you control. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Keyboard and mouse break. It's got to be that. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan, especially now, of not being more wary of where your money goes or more careful with your money. Because this is supposed to just be a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. Now, if your job pertains to gaming, that's different. I understand. That's more understanding. But if it's just a hobby that you do on the side and you're not making money from it, why do you need a $3,000-$4,000 PC? I understand that you like it, that you love video games, but do you not have anything else that you'd like to do outside of it? Or not even that you like to. Do you not have anything to do outside of being on the screen playing games all the time? Unfortunately, I do. I do have a job. I do have priorities. I have a grandmother to take care of, her sister that's getting, unfortunately, older to not bring up anything that's actually going on. She's just getting older. So is my grandmother. They're getting older. I have her house to take care of. I have my own house to take care of. I got a dog. That's another big update since you all have last heard from me here on OMO, that a stray has come to my yard and has made residence in my grandfather's old building that he used to keep the pool supplies and stuff from. And now he's just in my yard, in my shed now. And he is officially named Silkspeed, named after both my grandfathers. Nicknames, of course. They're not actually called Silky and Speedy. That's were their nicknames. So Silkspeed is here. But as life continues to throw people jabs, no matter what, and it seems like just to live you have to be elite in some way. You have to be definitely not poor. You have to have money, which obviously like, obviously, to live is to have some money to be able to, you know, afford to live and get food and have a place over your head and whatnot. But it's insane right now how much something that was cheap is now super expensive. And and it's not like prices are going up, which this is not prices, but wages. This isn't a discussion to talk about here. This is BS. It's political stuff that I don't want to talk about, but it pertains to what I want to go into. The first thing, and I have to apologize somewhat because Xbox really, with me, the first season of OMO really got at it. Like, I hated that they raised all their prices, and deservedly so, though. A lot of their prices raised, and it's nuts. The price for the biggest, best Xbox Series X is insane to me. And then they raised the price on Game Pass? No. And at the same time, they were trying to raise the price of video games. The Outer Worlds 2 was almost $80 when it came out, but thankfully they put the kibosh on that one after the uproar. And then they released their partnership with Rogue, with the Rogue Ally, with the big one being $1,000. Probably not the best time to release that one with all the price hikes you had to do, but, you know, at least they had some games that were pretty decent. Like I said, the Outer Worlds 2, they had Avowed, which I've heard is pretty okay. But I kind of have to apologize because they're not the only ones that have done this. And I feel like I put across that, like, the good thing about Nintendo and Sony is that they're not raising prices as drastically as Microsoft and Xbox has. The only reason I'm convinced that Nintendo hasn't is because they want to sell that Switch 2. It is not even a year old yet to this recording. It came out in June. It is April. It's not a year. I'm almost convinced that the Switch 2... What kind of tone pitch was that? You hear that? But I'm convinced that the Switch 2 is going to change price and go up a little bit after a year. They're giving it a year to be the price that it is, and then they're going to jack the price up. I don't know exactly when after a year, but I can totally see them doing that. They're just trying to keep it as low as they can now so they can sell the thing. But I was giving Sony credit because, yeah, they did a price hike, but it was only $50 for their consoles. I'm like, oh, wow, that's not bad. Good job, Sony. They're actually, like, trying their best to keep prices down. Oh, the PlayStation fanboy that I am, as you can see on this side and all the PlayStation games or whatnot. I'll be the first to admit, yes, PlayStation fanboy. So maybe I was looking at it at rose-tinted glasses. I have to admit I'm a hypocrite because that's not the case anymore. Recently, I don't think it was last week. I think it was the week before. They had to do the price hike. They had to. I guess they had to. It sucks. With everything going on, they're like, can't hold out anymore, boys. But some of these prices are just incredible. Listen to this. So the Slim Digital is now $5.99. I'm not talking about like $5.99. No, $599, $600 for the PlayStation 5 Slim. It was $399 whenever it was first released, by the way, in 2020. The regular one with the disc drive, $649. Now, I think that's the regular price of the Xbox Series X. So they're both priced the same in terms of getting the standard with disc version. So you can argue, like, is that a good price for the PS5? Which one's actually better? Which one do I spend $650 on? I don't know. But the PS5 Pro, I can't defend this. I can't defend it. The PS5 Pro is a staggering $899. What the what are we doing? In comparison, that 2 terabyte Xbox Series X, the big one, the Galaxy Black version, the most expensive version that I was just talking about a minute ago, is $799. I thought that was outrageous. But now the PS5 Pro is more expensive than this one. They have now made it more expensive. And it's nuts. Now, granted, is the PS5 Pro, like, got better stuff in it? I guess, but, like, a buddy of mine was talking about it because GameStop was kind of cool in the sense that for the week or so before they announced the price hikes, whenever the price was still $750, which I still think is egregious, but they were doing a thing where, well, if you trade in your PS5, we'll give you a lot of credit for that, and the console will only be like half what it actually is. So I could have gotten a PS5 Pro if I traded in my old fat PS5 for like $350. That's pretty sick. That's not nearly as bad of a price. And for a console that is technically more advanced in this one than the standard one, yeah, cool. That's a perfectly fair price, I think, to pay for it. But now, especially after the damn price hike, do you really want to upgrade to a PS5 Pro? And the only thing it does is, instead of having an option going between performance mode and quality mode, they're just on the same. They're the same thing now. They're combined. Now, yeah, it's cool to have 60 FPS with ray tracing. Yeah, it's fine, but it's one of those things, like I mentioned earlier, you don't need it if you're having fun with the game that you're playing. It's another one of those, like, yeah, it'd be cool to have, but if you don't need it, why would you try and get it? Well, of course, the answer is because it's better. Really? I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But why is, like, performance and all this other junk more important than having a fun game to play and enjoying the game that you're playing? Again, when it comes to, like, streaming and if, like, video games are your job or whatnot, I get it. You want the best performance. You want to see if it runs as great as it possibly can. Don't get me wrong. I understand. You need it in certain aspects. Competitive play. You need higher FPS to be able to control better and move better. I understand. But if it's just mostly, which most people are, don't freak out here, but most people that play video games are still casual. Are still just casually wanting to play with friends after a week of work, or they're just kids wanting to play video games here and there with their friends or by themselves or whatever. They just want to casually play video games. It's not competitive. Well, it might be competitive at the time with their friends, but in the grand scheme of things, not everyone's trying to go to, like, LA or Tokyo or whatever, be in these big grand competitions. Not everyone's doing that. And $899 for just a moderately upgraded PS5 in the grand scheme of things is absurd. You are honestly just better off saving maybe $300-$400 extra and getting like a mid-tier laptop. My laptop, wow. Censor that just to be safe. My laptop right now can probably run games just fine on it, and it can do other stuff too. See, I feel like I'm doing oh, PC, this is why PC's better. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to do that, you might as well just spend the money and actually get some more productivity out of what you're getting on the go too. Not even to mention there are some desktops that you can actually get at a decent price like that and can run relatively well. If I would have hold off a couple $100 more, and I got my setup as it is now. In terms of the PC and one of the monitors, that's how much that would have been. It can't do like 60 FPS, 4K, whatever, 120 FPS and stuff, but I get the job done for sure. Again, get what you can get at the price you can afford, how you can, enjoy it. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg. And this in particular, like, you're spending that much money on a PS5 Pro. And just think, it's 4K at 60 FPS. The PC community are going to laugh at you because they're like, you spent that much and just only get 60 FPS at 4K? This is a whole nother problem. But seriously, like, that's too much. I thought the price originally of $699 when the PS5 Pro first came out was insane. Now it's $900. After tax, it's closer to the $1,000 mark. And it's just the PS5 Pro. That's the thing. At least with the handheld Rogue Ally X, yeah, it's $1,000 out the bat, but it's also a PC. You can use it as a PC as well. Although I have the standard Rogue Ally from a few years back, and it's also a PC too, but I'd never want to use it as a PC. I will say that. So take it for what you will, but at least it's still a PC. Oh, not only did they raise the price of their consoles, they slyly raised the price too of the PlayStation Portal. Just throwing it out there. And those new controllers, which I admit, I got one. They're really cool. The gradient black and either red, green, or blue. I got the red one. I was going to get the green one because the green one to me looked cooler, but I already have a green controller. And I, for some reason, just love the DualSense controller so much that I've got way too many of them, admittedly. But they raised the price on this one too. Yeah, after tax, I paid $90 for another DualSense. Now, granted, like the standard black and white one are still $74, which I still think is expensive, but at least with the DualSense, there's a lot going on with it. $90 for the new DualSense, even though it is like a gloss finish and everything, it feels weird and whatnot. It's not good. Be the first to admit, I don't like that. It's not good. When I saw the price for it, I'm like, man, they are lucky it looks cool. And they are lucky I am such a brand whore. And I love PlayStation so much because I'll get a controller. I won't spend $200 on a controller like the Pro, which I did think about at the time. I will be the first to admit, but the thought of me doing it just sent a chill down my spine, saying like, you're spending $200 on a controller. What's wrong with you? And then $90 came up, and I'm just like, oh, that's almost just as bad. I know that's about half the price. That's half the price, but oh. Now the Portal has a screen on it, so it's not just a controller, even though it's basically a controller with a screen on it. I'm trying to justify it to myself, okay? Leave me alone. What did I say earlier in the show, too? I'm a hypocrite? You're welcome. I called myself out. People aren't playing video games like they used to, especially kids. And these price hikes, no matter what the reasoning for them, it's not helping. It's not helping one bit. Who could blame people for not wanting to spend on games or play games because they just can't afford to get new stuff if they need new stuff? I know it's like a problem with materials and everything, prices skyrocketing, but I want to put in perspective how much these companies actually make. Get ready to be a little angry. So as of April 6th, when I was writing these notes down, the market cap for Sony is $128 billion USD. Now, you also have to take into account of employees, material stuff, they run businesses, blah, 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 blah. That's still a lot of clams. That's still a lot of money. But let's compare it to Microsoft. Microsoft's market cap, $2.775 trillion. Billion and trillion. Everyone's struggling, I get it, even companies in that sense. But that's billion and trillion. It's even worse for Microsoft, in my opinion. I know both also have different things they reach out into, electronic-wise and whatnot. Still, price hikes in this sense, just in my opinion, are insane. And no one's going to pay top dollar for a hobby that was literally just about 10 years ago way cheaper than what it is now. It's insane. It's literally insane. And I just go back to wondering, when is Nintendo going to raise the Switch 2? You know it's coming. You know it's coming. Sony and Microsoft have already rose. You know Nintendo wants to. They have to be bleeding dry some of the money they're making on the Switch 2. So when do you think they're going to do it? Like I said earlier, I think it's going to be a year, and I think the price is going to be around $500. They're only going to raise it $50. So it's going to kind of be like what Sony did. At first, they're going to raise it $50, and it's like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. It's $500. It's already almost that way after tax anyway. So okay, whatever. But then the next price hike will be not that far after, like maybe 6 months. And then it'll be like $600. And then it's going to be like, okay, I'm not spending $600 for a handheld that's just as powerful as a PS4 or a PS4 Pro. Can't do it. That stuff it makes me continue to say that gaming is just not in a great place right now. I'm still confident of a gaming crash, which is unfortunate and sad in a lot of ways, but it would help. It helped the last time we had one. The problem is, I don't think it's going to be how I originally thought a gaming crash would be. And I'm getting less and less confident that the gaming industry would bounce back as well as it did the time with old Mario. I definitely could be wrong. Most of the time I am. I like to be wrong in these situations, so hopefully I am. Speaking of Mario, one final thing I want to bring up in the show this week, and I'm going to expand. I am going to expand OMO a little bit. I'm going to expand it to video game related stuff, because if it's just video games, I'm noticing I'm really running out of opinions that aren't samey, So I'm going to expand it to video game related topics, and one of the more video game related topics that's been out recently is the release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And apparently it's just not great at all. I've heard from Moist Critical on YouTube and other influencers or whatnot that it's basically the epitome of jangling keys in a baby's face or watching TikTok videos, the movie, with a lot of references to their older games and the possibility of setting up a Mario or a Smash Brothers movie. I'm just going to say it right now. It's not surprising that this movie sucked. that a lot of people don't like this movie. First of all, it's an illumination film. Excuse me. I can't talk. They don't have the best track record for great cartoon movies, for great 3D movies. I mean, the only reason why Despicable Me is any good is because the Minions, and you can argue that they're not really that good. They're just memorable because the Ika-gada-buka. That sounded more like Stitch, but banana. There we go. That's a Minion. Personally, I didn't think the first one was anything special. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I would recommend it to people, to parents that want to show their kid a movie and not feel like they're just doing the jangling keys in front of their face while they're off doing something else type thing. But, like, I'd still recommend more 2D animated Disney films, classic films. Not even the ones whenever I was growing up, like The Lion King and whatnot, but I'm talking like Bambi and for girls, Snow White and the Sorcerer's Stone, I think it is. I'd recommend those way before Galaxy movie, Super Mario Galaxy. It's like recommending the Emoji Movie, it sounds like. It's not that bad. Trust me, it can't be that bad. Or Shrek, if you want to stay away from Disney. Shrek, the first Shrek movie is amazing. It's been memed to death, don't get me wrong, but it's still a really good movie. I knew there was something going to be extra with it whenever they, a week before, announced Fox was going to be in there. You know, Star Fox, not even a part of the Mario universe. It has his own universe, but hey, he's in the movie, and they spoiled that for people before they went to the theater. Why would you do that? Why? That's so dumb. Because people were going to find out about it eventually online anyways. Just let them watch it, find out for themselves. Listen. If you want to show anybody anything Mario, and that's not the Mario movie, I'm sorry. If you've already shown the Mario movie, and you're really wanting to show them Galaxy movie, don't. Just do this. Help the gaming industry some too, in a way. Get a Switch. You don't have to get a Switch 2. If you want a Switch 2, that's fine. I see you parents. You want to play the Switch 2 as well. But get them Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Or if you don't want to spend the money for Galaxy 1 and 2, find an old Nintendo Wii and find old copies of Galaxy 1 and 2. Let them play that. Literally, that's the games that the movie's based on. Movie comes from. Just play the games. The games are going to probably be better than the movie anyways. But if you want some kind of Mario movie to get your kids to watch, if you're not wanting them to play video games, then just watch the first one. Oh, they've already seen it. Well, they're kids. They'll watch it again. It's bright. It's colorful. It's nice. It actually has got a decent message for what it is. Not the best film in the world, but I'd still recommend it if you want. This one just doesn't sound like anything I'd recommend. Now you're going to say, well, you haven't watched it, then why are you even saying this? If enough people online are saying that, maybe a conclusion can be made that, hey, maybe this ain't the best one to recommend, but I'll give it to you. Never talk about something you don't know unless you've checked it out. I'll give it to you for sure, and I do that way too much. So within the next month or so, hopefully it will be out on streaming or on DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. I will watch it, and I will come back here on OMO, and I will give my full review of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I am not going to a theater and watching it. First of all, I don't have anybody to go with. Second of all, if I go in by myself to a Super Mario Galaxy movie, I feel like I'm going to get called. I'm going to get some calls. What is this man doing going into the movie theater? I'm not doing that. I'm a grown man. I don't need to do that. But I will watch it. I will watch it and give my opinion and see if I'm right or wrong with what I'm saying now. I will go back to this part in the podcast, which is just fantastic because now I got to edit that later on. In the episode that I actually watched the Super Mario Galaxy movie, I've got to edit this part in. Can't wait for that. And I will say if I was right or wrong, and I will explain it. So that is my promise to you all listening. And speaking to you all listening, thank you. Thank you for sticking with me once again through more bad mental health days, through more constant waiting. Another constant you all have with me is constantly waiting to see if I actually stay with stuff. And I apologize big time for that. And I hope season 2 brings you that consistency that I want to bring. So, consistency pending. I at least want to do this in seasons now. I think that would help. While my priority, like I've said many times before, is still STPP, OMO and STA are going to be things that come back into relevance. And we start this week. We start today. We start with this episode of OMO to bring back some of that stuff that we're doing back in October and that I was doing for months. And it starts with this, and I cannot wait because if it goes for 16 episodes, October to January, October, November, December, 3 months from now, probably into July, take another break for a month or two, then we got the fall. Then we could start talking about the Game Awards stuff again, get more of an idea of games that have come out, which there are games that I've got my eye on that I want to try. Hopefully I will one day sometime this year. We'll see. And I hope you enjoy the new ride of the new season of OMO. Before I go, let me advise you all to go try out Dubby because KGX3 is officially sponsored by Dubby. Great energy drink. I still have my tub of sherbet Dubby drink. It's just a energy drink based off of coffee bean extract. Take a spoonful of the powder, put it in a cup, shake it up with some water, drink that some. Oh, it's really good. So go check out w.gg and use code KJX3 for 10% off your order. And that will all go to supporting both OMO and STPP. Anything from that will probably go to these two shows directly. Speaking of shows, and speaking of something that's coming back like OMO, I mentioned it. STA is coming back this week as well on Saturday on the Patreon page. So go check out STPP Unhinged Heroes on Patreon and get ready for the $5 tier STA return. But if you don't want to spend $5, because, again, inconsistency being a thing with me, totally understand. Become a $1 tier member. You get your name shouted out on STPP. STPP Uncensored is also a thing, although it hasn't been updated for a while. I need to get the newest podcast episodes uncensored on there soon. But there are episodes on there that we've done since we've come back in October. You can go listen to those old ones. But right now, you can just support us for $1. You get your name shouted out on the show, and it's highly appreciated. But you get your name shouted out on STPP. Apologies for not doing it here. STPP is the main show. But I do want to advertise the Patreon here now, though. As you've also noticed, too, VideoMO is up on YouTube now. It is not part of either VideoMO on Patreon or whatnot. I'm just giving it out at the same time I'm putting the audio version out. That might change in the future. I will say right now that might change. But for now, they go up day one, both days. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you check out w.gg. Use that code KJX3 for 10% off your order. I hope you check out STPP Unhinged Heroes on your favorite podcasting apps, on YouTube for the video version. And I thank you for sticking with me. And I thank you for listening to this fine podcast. Weird cut. I appreciate everyone sticking by, listening when they want to, when they can. Thank you all so much for listening. I love each and every one of your faces. I hope you have a good day. Hope you have a good week. And I'll hear you and see you next week here on WideOMO. Thanks, guys. If you or someone you know is in crisis, call or text 988 or visit 988lifeline.org for more information. Free, confidential, 24/7.